Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where the orchard of wisdom shows are at your fingertips. It ignites your soul, your heart, your spirit, your mind, and your body with illumination from people who have made the journey before you. They're here now to help you on your journey, on your path of self-discovery. We are funded by you, the audience, and the people we interview. If you wish to support us, please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com and press on our Fund Action button. Anything is appreciated. We'd like you to sit back and enjoy the shows. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Self-Discovery Mediums right here on Self-Discovery Media. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my guest is Susan Arum. What happens with our dearly departed? Do we lose contact with them? Well, no, we don't. The dearly departed have got messages from us from the other side. So how do we listen to those messages? How do we reach out to them? Well, this is where Susan comes in. She's a medium who works privately with her clients as well as groups in assisting them who have lost their beloved ones. Those who want to hear the spirit messages from the other side will come through if they're open to it. It's the spirit's choice, and they will come through depending on each individual. She works with clients and discusses their needs with questions like date of birth and those the kind of information, what they want from them. She views a photograph sent to her to pick up the information, and then through that photograph she can see the past, present, as well as the departed ones and those in their lives who have been any time in their lives. As more and more human souls are leaving the planet Mother Earth since COVID, and with ongoing health issues, many look to the spirit mediums for insights and messages. People are searching for meaning from those departed souls. They may never have been able to see their departed loved ones at this COVID pandemic due to the full swing from 2020. Many people died alone. There wasn't the closure. Thankfully, it's now winding down. What is more important to the human soul is knowing that ascension, otherwise known to people as death, is a process that all souls go through. There is no death per se. It is an evolution of the soul to the next level of moving into the light frequency body. And the journey has led her to understand through her studies to know more about the next dimension and the spirit world and more. So let us know more. It's purely the vessel that passes, right? The vessel and some of the life experiences, but a lot of the essence of who we've become in this lifetime moves on with us, moves on in the spirit world to be reborn or maybe to ascend to a higher level. But very often people who depart want to stay around a while because they want to guide their loved ones, guide people who are still left here on earth. And it's just a questioning of being willing to listen and go for someone like you to find out what that message is. Welcome to the show, Susan.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, a lot of people will kind of think of the movie Ghost and Whoopi Goldberg and thinking a body jumps inside of you and starts talking. And that is not quite the way it goes. I suppose some people it might, but it's really just you have the ability to open up that channel and allow that channel, that frequency, so that person that's passed over can communicate.
So true. So true. For me, it's been a journey. I talk a little bit about my past.
Yes, please
Okay.
do.
Yeah, my journey has been long, and I've seen lots more than the, as I say, normal people or regular people.
Mhm.
I was very open as a child, so I'd see things a lot and know how I was going in my parents' car to get there and tell them what to do. And I grew up Jewish and Orthodox, and I was told to be quiet and cute,
Mhm.
quiet. So that was the role. Um, Through my discoveries as a teacher, a dancer, very active sports person, skiing for a living in Colorado, I have gone through many different challenges and changes. Um, Body, mind, spirit, wearing a brace on my back at 19 and was like, I can't dance anymore. I was like,
Mm.
whoa. So, back in New York, goes back to 1983. I was studying acting on Long Island. I was managing a health food co-op. an organic co-op back in those days. 83 is a long time ago.
Yeah, it is.
But, time is an illusion and we move forward. So I decided to go to a acting class, and I ran into my friend Ronnie, and she took me to my first psychic fair. She was a Pan Am stewardess at the time, and then she left that job. And I went to the psychic fair and I picked up Shirley MacLaine's book and another book, and I read Shirley MacLaine's book, and I thought, wow, I got to study the psychic. And I picked up a pamphlet, and the next thing I know, I'm studying with the psychic on Long Island. While I was studying acting, and I was studying astrology, and I was managing a health food co-op all at once, like juggle. I got to eat this information. The more I know, the better my frequency. And whoever I was becoming back then, I was 30, right? And time moved me forward. So I studied with this woman, and then there was a seance at one of her classes. We once a week, meditation, a lot of work with each other. And then we had a graduating class, and this guy from another class came in, and, I really could see a lot. And he's like, how do you know everything about my life? But I would just listen. I would just listen. And I used to have to drive up and back from her place to where I was staying at my dad's, and I'd see lights changing, even from the traffic lights, other things. So lo and behold, the class was over, comes to being in my house. I wake up in the middle of the night. There's my mother, who died in 76, in my room. I was like, okay, she wants to tell me she's around. I wasn't freaked out or anything like that. I just saw her, and I went back to sleep. And so that was in 83, 84. Then I was a Buddhist at the time. My neighbor was into Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, which Tina Turner got into. And I was moving forward with that practice. And then I moved to New York. Prior to that, I was in New Jersey at the shore, because where I grew up was the island right at the ocean, jumping a little bit around here. And I studied a little bit more on my own. Actually, when I was studying with this psychic teacher, all I did was read. I shut myself off from the world, and I compiled a library of books, and I couldn't get enough information. It just was like, I was like gobbling, just gobbling it, because I thought, what is going on? Here I am, educated, BA in, phys ed, dance, elementary ed, my minor speech and communications. My family wanted me to teach. I'd listen to them all the time about the structures, the strikes, this and that. And I was like, wait a second, this is not my program.
Yeah.
And so I started getting into crystals and stones as well in 1985, which shifted my gears too. And I was trained by a lot of crystal people that have written books and so forth. And then I also trained and sold for my friend in New York jewelry. And she trained me to do that as well. So when I came to Canada in 88, I moved to Vancouver. I was just doing this jewelry. And it was shamanic jewelry to shift people's gears of their lives. All right, because each stone works with a different frequency, blah, 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 blah. So I made hundreds of pieces. I gave my work to Goldie Hawn, Shirley MacLaine, Cher, Robert Plant, Angelina Jolie. I was promoting myself into all the newspapers and magazines in Vancouver, which was profound back then. I managed the Crystal Arc. And at the same time, I wanted to still get into acting. So I started doing some stuff behind the scenes, background, met Gene Hackman on my first set. We chatted. I chatted with the director of his son, who is on set. So, I've done a lot of different things, getting back to acting, television, film, commercials, video, radio, voiceovers, animation, studied producing. When I was working in Vancouver as well in 92 to 93, I started my own practice. I was doing body work, lymphatic drainage out of my home. I trained in Colorado when I skied for a living in Telluride. So I worked on hundreds of bodies. And when they'd come in my house, I put my hands on them, and we are all frequency. That's it. We
Yes.
are
Yes.
light,
Yeah.
frequency, and sound. And, we are light bodies in this vessel, in this human
Yes.
vessel. And so I put my hands on people and I'd tell them things, and people would say, "How do you know everything about my life?"
Mm-hmm.
It just was like coming out.
Yes.
Sometimes it couldn't stop. So it was like, calm down, and it's not for everybody, right? Some people might have thought I was crazy, but, to each their own. I
Yes.
had to do my own thing. I just need some water, excuse me. So I did that for quite a few years. And then I went full on into acting, studied at William Davis, had agents, did all those things I talked about. Then I became an agent for my friend's company out of Toronto, and I ran Toronto and Vancouver, opening up Vancouver. While I was doing that in 2013, I studied with two mediums out of England that came to Vancouver. And then I started my own show into the United States once a week in 2013. And people would call in and I would tell them things. And one
Mm-hmm.
lady, she was like, "How do you know what town I'm in the States?" I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "It just came." So it's working with getting quiet, working with my guidance. My mom and dad helped me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When my father died in 2009 and I went back to New York, I came back to Vancouver and I was sleeping, in sleep, not in sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw 120 people up there. So I was told I'm working with a huge group of people, my whole family.
Yeah.
My dad had 6 brothers. My mom had 2 brothers, 2 sisters, my grandparents. I mean, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk a little bit about my dad because I found out he was ill. I went back to New York. A psychic in Vancouver gave me some oil to anoint his third eye. I was there for him when he had stomach cancer, and he's 92, and they're operating on him. My brother was a surgeon, an eye surgeon, and of course, he had to go to the hospital. But I would never have operated on a 92-year-old man. But
No. No.
that's something else to be talked
Mm-hmm.
about down the road with family because they don't want to talk about it. So, bottom line is, I was given this oil by a medium in Port Moody, and she and I met. She said, your father, blah, 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 is going to go. I knew that was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And so she gave it to me, and I anointed. After his operation, a few days later, he was hooked up to 12 tubes,
Mm.
machines, like
Yeah.
5 machines, 12 tubes. He could never talk again or open his eyes. I anointed him. And I anointed myself and I walked him to the light for 3 hours. I just kept going, telling him he's going to be okay. He's going to see my mom and his family and his brothers and his parents and everybody he knows up there. So I just did this for 3 hours in the room,
Mm-hmm.
nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
And some force guided me to do this. It was quite powerful. And, looking back, going, wow, how was I knowing to do this? But that's what I had to do.
Yes.
And when he passed, or before he passed, I was running with my brother's dog. I saw this huge ball of light and I went, "Oh my God, am I having a heart attack?" Because Sarkozy just had a heart attack. I was like, "No, you're not having a heart attack. It's your dad."
Yeah.
So I ran back to their house. Sister-in-law comes out and she goes, "Your father's heart stopped. Your father's heart stopped. We have to call your brother, the doctor." He had a do not resuscitate order. I found out my brother resuscitated him 2 or 3 times.
Mm.
We won't go there, but some people, that's the
Don't
way it
respect the process of
Yeah,
passing
what they
on.
don't know
Yeah.
about it. That's it,
Yeah.
they just don't know. They're scared.
Yeah.
The doctor, he's trained in giving pharmaceuticals,
Yeah.
treating people's eyeballs. I mean, I'm not close to him.
Mm-hmm.
That may change in time, but for now, this is life.
Mm-hmm.
So he ended up, a few days later, the doctor called the house and said, he's going to go. And I heard my brother at the other end of the phone saying, no, we're not coming to the hospital, which really broke me up. And then he passed, and the phone rang at his house, my brother's house. And I picked it up, and there was music at the other end of the phone.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, he's telling me he's gone. He's going. And then about 10 minutes later, the phone rang again, and there was no one there. And I knew he was on his merry way to his ascension. And then it was a Jewish Orthodox funeral. The casket, the ceremony, the rabbi. Anyways, it ends up that when no one was there, everyone left, except maybe my cousin, who's just ascended. She's 92 as well. I had a piece of selenite crystal in my pocket, and I knew I was going to do this. To connect my father to the light, I threw the crystal in the grave.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have the other one,
Mm-hmm.
as well as on the big headstone of Arum, there were 2 doves
Mm-hmm.
on the headstone. So I knew he was with my mother, reunited.
Yes.
Okay? So I get a lot of information for clients now. It's really amped. I ask for photos, I ask for questions, but when people are open and I'm connecting with them, Spirit just comes and tells me everything I need to tell the client.
Right.
And I mean, it goes on for over an hour off and on, and
Mm-hmm.
it's quite amplified right now. I get names, I get visions, I get downloads. I'm trained in psychometry, holding objects and getting visions as well. So it's just staying open, having it open
Mm-hmm.
to what you get. Do not block it. I'm trained in many different modalities of the arts. And it, to me, as a teacher and as a performer and entertainer, spirit keeper, light worker, I can't block anything I get at all.
No, because that's your job here.
Yeah.
Right?
So
That's your job here. So
it's a function for me to cohabitate with them from one level to another one,
right.
which is here on the earth plane, because so many people are so confused about, I'm mourning and I'm sad and I didn't have enough time with my parents. I didn't get to say this.
Yeah.
Unfinished business.
Yes.
Well, they don't care about unfinished business because they love you. And we're coming from a high frequency now of love.
Mm-hmm.
And the highest frequency that we can give one another, whether you're doing readings or you're just meeting people on this planet for the first time, is embracing people with love and compassion and listening and caring and sharing and being humbled. And, people have different opinions. That's for
Yes.
sure. But we are waking up right now in 2022 to the world of the light frequency that's emanating on this planet. And there's such huge shifts that people are grappling at, I'm scared.
Yes.
And so they are looking to the spiritual world, or they're looking for helpers along the road to assist them on their journeys, because a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense.
Right. Well, a lot of people have been tapped on the shoulder and they don't know what's going on. And, the spirit can't talk through a closed heart. And so, people,
Exactly.
the heart needs to be open, and people are kind of, the hearts have been broken or have been tested, but it's also been forced open. And as it opens, people are realize there's more. There's more out there. I don't know how to articulate it. I don't understand it, but I know there's more out there. And they're beginning to feel the energy. And the energy is in urgency right now for us to rise up to that higher frequency of love. And it's imperative as a human race that we do. We're behind time in our evolution. And, it is that awakening is happening. I've often said this on the shows, but it was a saying given to me 4.5 years ago. The universe is shaking us up to wake us up, to step us up, to change it up, and to grow up. And that's a double entendre, to grow up to a higher frequency, but also grow up, please. It's the time of bitterness and the time of hate and the time of division is so dysfunctional, so uncreative, so unproductive, that really the people that are complaining the most right now and the loudest right now are those that are not connected. So when you are connected and you're in that beautiful state of peace, love, tranquility, and trust, your
Yes.
channels are open. And you
Exactly.
know what you're talking about is what I call the knowingness. You know what you need to know when you need to know it, right? You don't need to understand it. You don't need to justify it, verify it, validate it. It just is, because it's the
Absolutely.
knowledge that's needed to know, either for you to know or for your customer to know what they need to know right at that moment. And we all have that capability if we're just willing to open up those channels and get
Yeah,
to that higher frequency.
take the shields down, because
Yes.
so many shroudings of layers of stuff,
Yeah.
and not just from this life. I mean, we're dealing with lots of past lives. I've been seeing
Yes.
a lot of past lives lately for myself, for other people. It's just jumping out,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, let's shake it off,
Yeah.
let's move on from what we think is just now, because it isn't just now. I mean, we are living
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
now,
You're living in the moment, and the moment is what you have
but
right now. But what we're talking about is not just getting stuck in the status quo, in, you
exactly.
know, in what is in our environment, right? Because we're asking people to elevate from that environment. So yes, be in the now, but be present in your production of
Exactly.
moving forward.
And taking all your gifts and
Yes.
abilities from all of these, I was talking about past lives,
Yes.
that
Yes.
you've been God given through your
Mm,
birth canal,
right.
through family, through other things prior to that.
Yes.
This is not the only existence we have had.
And it's ignorant for us to think it is. It's also ignorant and arrogant to think we are the supreme species,
Exactly. I
because
mean,
you know we're not. I mean, you look at the animal kingdom, you look at nature itself, that's its intuitive intelligence and its constant living in frequency is why it is so creative and constantly is sustainable and regenerative. You know, and if we stepped into that frequency, we wouldn't have as much illness, we wouldn't have as much doubt, we would have more connection, not only with each other, with ourselves, with the planet, with the universe. This is the level that we're being promoted to right now. And I think probably one of the reasons you're getting a lot of people coming in from the past is that it's a nudge, nudge, wink, wink, push, push forward. You know,
yeah,
I'll give you
it's
the
our
right
alignment.
information to move forward. Yeah.
Exactly. It's the alignment of your soul,
Yeah.
because we need to work on our souls, our
Yes.
soul journey. I mean, we have friends and family, but it's all about you.
Yes.
All about, so what am I feeling? And the other thing is right now is human beings, wherever they are on the planet, I mean, some super poor, some super
Yeah.
rich, it's all about self-love and giving.
Yes.
But honing into, what am I feeling? And going into self. I mean, we've been in isolation now for 2
Yeah.
years of lockdown, and it's been frustrating as heck for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and people have a lot of anxiety and stress
Mm-hmm.
and lack of employment, and
Lack,
nothing.
prices going up, jobs not,
Exactly,
you know,
exactly.
yes, there's a
So
great deal of stress in this transition.
exactly. So if we come from our point of reference in our souls,
Mm-hmm.
to come out of that frequency of absorption into what we're being played with, all the media of, I don't want to get into it, but
Yeah.
um, it's about, how do I bring abundance and creativity and love and sharing and caring, and how do I expand?
Yes.
How do I expand my soul, my journey? I mean, I've been very gifted to have Sarah pick up, the internet and write me, say, "Do you want to be a guest?" And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, sure." And now I'm advertising in Whistler for my work, and did some new photos this past weekend. And hopefully I'll have the abundance to assist her with her journey, because we have to work together. It's
That's, yeah,
co-creation. It
that
is
that that
about
is about what
co-creation.
frequency is. Yeah, exactly. You know, when it's wonderful if you can listen to one instrument, and it's really beautiful. But when that instrument is then accompanied by another,
Exactly.
in sync, in harmony, in creativity, that orchestra has such a bigger impact, but it's made up of the individual instruments. What instrument are we? How do we learn to play it? And which orchestra do we join in order to create a harmonious invitation to other people?
Exactly. So it's like putting, the symphony together.
Yes.
It's putting
Yes.
the puzzle pieces together.
Yes.
So, I met Sarah years ago at a coffee shop. I haven't talked to her in years, but that's okay. Time is not.
It's a human concept.
Right. And so we're meant to come back together, just
Right.
like other people in your lives are going to start showing up.
Yeah.
I had that experience yesterday with someone here in Pemberton, BC, Canada. And I'm working with her on her birthday tomorrow. I'm gifting her a session. Why? Because I know she's part of my soul tribe. And she's an art director in this area, and she's talented. Right? So I won't go into that, but when you feel it and when you know it and you own it, the sky's the limit. Or
yes.
limitless.
Yes.
It's like female, limitless leadership. So,
yes.
It's about no one can stop you. No one can suss you down. You are your light. You are your frequency. You are your soul. How do you elevate it?
Right.
How do you do your work?
Right.
How do you get quiet? How do you finally say, okay, I need to make these transformations? Because yes, we're in a 6th year, 2022. Last year was a 5 of transformation. So if you didn't get the kick in the butt,
yes,
you're getting the kick in the butt now.
Cosmic 2x4 if you're not careful.
I like that one. I love that one. That's hysterical.
Well, the thing is, we do get the tap on the shoulder. We do get even the red carpet. We do get the nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But if we keep resisting, the cosmic 2x4 does come along. And so many people I talk to literally had to bottom out, lose everything. Maybe their health, everything around them, just bottom right out, and then regrow in the light that they're meant to regrow in, right? And for so many people, they needed that kind of cosmic 2x4 to pull the plug on them because they were maybe highly successful in what they were doing. Highly capable, highly successful, but utterly miserable because they were disconnected from their meaningful purpose. So the life came along, pulled the rug from underneath them, and now it's like, yes, you're bottomed out, plant, let those roots start growing. Don't try and reach for the top of the branches immediately, right? Root, let those roots really grow. Let the trunk of your tree strengthen. Then you can branch out, but allow yourself to go through the process of growth, of elevation, of evolution, of discovery. Because that's when you really do step into your meaningful purpose and become the gift that others need from you and a gift to yourself.
And you've had it all along, but
yes, you just didn't have it switched on.
You didn't recognize it, and
or you were using it in the wrong way.
Other ways, other times. I mean, I can remember being on film sets in Vancouver and literally channeling all the time that I was there, and people were just like sucking it up and waiting, and waiting areas, and they're like, whoa, so everything happens for a reason. Our karmic balance, our elevation, our evolution, our growth, our cycles, it's all moving like growing a plant.
Yes.
It takes baby steps, watering it,
nurturing it. Yes.
Loving yourself, because the bottom line is coming from your loving space.
Yes.
And
how can you invite love if you aren't love? How can you bring about peace if you yourself are not peaceful?
Exactly.
Right? How can you bring light to the darkness if you are not the light in your own darkness?
Right.
We need to be these things in order to manifest these things and shed light on other things. Inspiration begets invitation. When you inspire other people, what you've become, what you stand for, what your contribution is, the light that you are, it invites other people to want to seek out their own light, that it is possible. And I think this is one of the reasons why so many people have such rocky journeys, because it's that relatability. You know, if you literally went from, birth up into the beautiful light and be a cosmic being, there isn't a connection to people. But when you've been through the rocky road and people can relate to your story, you understand there is a synergy there. They know you've struggled. Then there is, okay, you've struggled, and now you've chosen, even out of that struggle, to become this light and to believe in life, in love, in the universe, in us as a human race. Because, of course, if you watch the news, no, I just press delete. But, when I do the interviews and I meet all wonderful people who have chosen to be the light in others' lives, then I know there are more of us than there are of them. We just don't get on the news.
Exactly. And I think all of this is going to flip.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it's going to be coming in the next couple of years. We're going to see so much change.
Yes.
And so many people turning, as you say, the leaf of their lives, right? Shedding the skin like a snake, just empowering themselves to catapult themselves into, wait a second, that doesn't really fit with what I'm feeling. I feel kind of in my stomach, ooh, that just does not correlate to me.
Yeah.
Or they may even get stomach aches, or they may get, irritable bowel, or, all these things.
Yes, they're an indication.
That on anybody. But the bottom line is what you take in, if you don't release,
yes,
it will absorb into your frequency of your being.
And that's where the dis-ease comes in.
Exactly.
Right. And we see more and more people getting sick. And that is because you are trying to release and you are resisting that release. And so the body is in trouble. Right? Exactly. If you want to heal the body, you must calm and heal the spirit. You must connect with the heart and soul, and that will heal the body.
Exactly. And then that comes into play with taking care of your health. And here we are being pumped with, I don't want to get into it too much, but
we won't go down that road.
Okay. So, it's all a preference, and it's all a soul preference.
Yes.
Of how you educate yourself. And it's how we educate ourselves, like going back to the beginning of you talking with the interview here about the soul's journey. This is the soul's journey. So I am assisting people on their soul's journey, being to connect with their past of who they have lost, or, friends that just they hear about and they're sad, and they've worked with people. They need answers. And that goes into play with their present life of work, and where am I going, and how do they connect with me, and how can I communicate with them who are up there now to bring this work down to here to help me. Because I know for myself, I'm talking to my mom and dad every day.
Right.
The morning, etc.
Many people who have crossed over, have chosen to stay around to be the guides.
Exactly.
Right. And they know that peaceful evolution that we need to get up to, that higher frequency of love and beyond, is only going to come about when people have ignited into their hearts and souls and meaningful purposes. So for many of those that are crossed over, there isn't the resentment of them crossing over. Right. If you do have spirits that are wanting to be earthbound. I've been through that experience where the body snatcher, etc. And they sometimes don't realize they're dead and they're just looking for a body. Right. So and there are some spirits that may be angry, but those that truly have embraced the evolution of moving on and understand the divine essence and presence of your spirit without a body, they understand that there is a need to help others. Because really what we want to do is elevate our spirit, elevate our soul wisdom, expand our heart, raise that frequency, because when we do, collectively we become those good vibrations that the Beat Boys talked about back in the 60s, that actually serves our planet, helps things grow better, keeps everybody on a more even balance, and allows us as human beings and collective life on this planet to really be extremely fruitful. We haven't tried that yet. We have, since we've been born as an earthling species, flight or fight. And most of the time we pick a fight. And we're asking people to step into the peace, love and peace, and see what that experiences are like, and just how absolutely awesome it's going to be. No, it's not all abstaining from life and kumbaya.
Right.
It's a choice to live in more harmony than going down the hate rhetoric.
Exactly. And that just really stops your own evolution.
Yeah.
And it's all coming from a planet of peace, a planet
Yes.
of love,
Yes.
a planet for, let's all work together
Yeah.
and unite. And that will be coming. Whether it comes in our lifetime, I pray so.
Yeah. Well, it is becoming. It's not will be coming, it is becoming. It is happening. The evolution of vibration is already happening. This is why there is so much discord and noise going on around the world. People are politically reaching out for more power to hold on to the past because they know it's slipping away from them. The power is being handed over to the people, and the people are made up of the individuals who have gone to a higher level of vibration. So it's already there. You can't stop this train, folks. So you may as well climb on.
Exactly. It's like, you hold on to something so tight.
Yes.
And then it just goes boom.
Like the bar of soap, right?
Yeah, in the shower. Hopefully, you watch where you're stepping, though.
Yes.
So yeah, we're moving forward to way, way lighter frequency, lighter in our body. The food chain, things are really shifting with people and their diets and their health, and becoming more consciousness of all these things that we eat, say, because saying things can reflect back to us.
Right.
And it can have negative effects on us. So we have to be careful of how we verse what we say to ourselves, to others. And, people get real uptight, angry, sad, violent. There's, the increase of violence has happened a lot in the cities. I'm seeing way more, and even in smaller places too. So, we pray for them, and we pray that things shift quickly.
Well, we're all responsible for ourselves. Now, we can't always choose what happens to us or happens around us, but we can choose how we deal with it, what we do with it, how we learn from it, what we become because of it. And if we step into the anger or the revenge or the making someone pay for it, we're abstaining from the lesson that we're meant to learn because of it, right? Because everything is a lesson, whether it's an unpleasant lesson or a pleasant lesson, it is still a lesson. And we can choose to resist it or be angry about it or fight it, or we could choose to see what we can create out of it, what we can become because of it. Embrace it. Because anger, what does it do? Hate, what does it do? It shuts down all the good vibrations. It shuts down creativity and productivity.
Exactly. And that goes into the emotional body, the frequency, the stomach area, your gut. That's why you feel things in your stomach. You're like, oh, big owie. What's going on? So breathe. Very important. Breath is so important. Deep, huge breaths.
Release.
And release. Exactly, Sarah.
I mean, if everybody just took a breath before they reacted, we've become such reactionary creatures and very quick to point a finger and blame. Blame. And it's like, there's three fingers pointing back at you, mate.
Right.
Where's your accountability here? Or what are you going to do about it? Because we want to pass the buck instead of taking it on. This is your life, your vessel, your responsibility, your heart and soul.
Exactly.
Right? Step into that ownership of that responsibility and stop passing the buck down to everyone else.
Yes, bang on, because each of us learns as we're going like upstairs in life. We're coming, then we get knocked down.
Yeah.
Coming. And it's about escalating.
Yeah.
That's how it is going to the ascension plane.
Yeah.
And not getting knocked down, but coming from, a peaceful warrior like Dan Millman wrote about, right? And we have to become peaceful warriors, and not necessarily warriors, but peaceful, God-loving souls
Yes.
for our journey
Mm-hmm.
to allow more to come in. The
Mm-hmm.
more that you release
The
on
more
your
open
own,
you
get
are.
out in nature, hug
Yeah.
a tree, the
Yes.
sun's up here,
Yes.
get
Yes.
in nature, lie down, take your shoes off, do some earthing.
Get into the water, that lovely conduit of the
Exactly.
water.
I
Oh,
know I miss the ocean
yeah.
so much, being a Pisces, but you know, get in with the earth because the earth is calming. The earth heals.
It's also in trouble.
Yes, of
Yeah, the
course.
earth is incredibly out of balance right now because the earth has just had too much SHIT being
Yeah,
dumped on it. And
yeah,
it's like, stop, giving me your grief. Start giving me your love,
exactly.
right? It's not there for you to ground and deposit your hate into,
Yes,
right? It's there for you to ground, to connect, because when you connect to the heartbeat of the earth,
yes.
your soul, the divine spirit, universal soul, can then speak to you. So it's there as an invitation to open up, not to dump.
And to listen and
Yes.
really go into nature, get quiet
Mm-hmm.
and listen and stay in nature. And
Yeah.
so you can hear things and feel things perhaps that you've never heard before.
It's a beautiful rustle of the breeze coming through the trees' leaves and the conversation that they will have with you. I remember with taking my dog for a walk down a particular area with a lot of trees, beautiful leaves on them. And I was walking down one day and they were rustling me like crazy. I said, "You're really loud. I can't hear you." The individual, the trees just stopped. There wasn't one leaf moving whatsoever. And then it was just one at a time. It was like, "Oh, I'm sorry,"
Where
and
was that, Sarah?
it was actually in Pitt Meadows.
Oh, okay.
Right. So it was just a very small little avenue of trees. But, at that time, they were really very, very chatty. And when I said, "You're just all shouting at me at once," and they just stopped.
Of course.
Nature will speak to you. Do not expect it to speak English or Punjabi or thisy or thaty to you. Right. It speaks to your soul and your heart. And the feeling that you get back from it, the thoughts that come because of it, become the clarity.
Exactly. It's like a cacophony. It sounds like to me when you were going through, there was a cacophony of symphony, like,
Yes.
whoa, and now
Yeah.
I'm in silence.
Yeah. Well, I
Right?
think it was like they were, how the symphony is always in practice before they start playing, and
Right.
everybody's in practice together. And it kind of sounds just too much, and then it stops, and then it's just the one or two instruments that start, and it was kind of a bit like that. But there is always, always, always an answer. You just
Oh,
have to ask the question, get out of your way, and allow that answer to come through you.
exactly.
And that's really what you've done. You've opened up your channels to allow the answers to come through you.
Yeah, and it's been quite interesting because it to get the confirmation when you work with people is, I want to say, it's mind blowing,
Yeah.
but that's how it is. And
Yes.
you're like, how did I know this? How did I just, every time I go into another session with someone, I'm kind of like, okay, what do I'm doing? Do I know what I'm doing? And then boom, it just comes through. And the mannerisms, it's
Yeah.
like me acting on stage. It's, pointing fingers like the spirit person would do,
Right.
soul would do. Singing sometimes, voices that come through, or songs. Just, it can be anything,
Mm-hmm.
anything. And it's about allowing,
Yes.
allowing the clarity to come through. I'm clairaudient, so I hear things. I'm clairvoyant.
Mm-hmm.
I see things.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's amazing. It really is. But it is a growth journey.
Yeah.
I never really thought in my wildest dreams that at this point in my life I'd be doing this.
But I mean, you've been preparing for it all your life.
Yeah, I mean, I've been preparing for it with, performance and studying and
Yes, I mean,
doing.
you've studied so many mediums, and each one of them
Yeah,
maybe were only not for you to do, but to activate
exactly.
your own,
Exactly. Because
Yeah.
there will be more for me to do besides,
Yes.
talking to people on the other side. I know this,
Yeah.
but I won't get into that now. And I'm so happy to see Sarah. She's just so beautiful. I'm looking at her and she's just a gorgeous gal.
Thank you.
I'm very intelligent.
Thank you very much. I've been a knowingness person, as I call it, since childhood. I would have knowledge from my teachers or for adults around me, and they would be kind of, how do you know that? I don't know. Can you repeat it? No. It is what they needed to know came through me at the moment they needed to know it, and it came through this child. And it always kind of blew the mind because academically, I was not a bright child at all. But intuitively, I could see things and understand things on a different level.
So you grew up where?
In England and then
Right.
South Africa.
And it was very open for people in England,
Well, not in
Not
my
that,
era, no.
no?
No. I mean, I've always been a spiritual being. I played with dead people. I was a very sick child. So, the beautiful dead entities used to come and entertain me because I'd be on my own for so long. And I would be traveling into different dimensions because I couldn't leave my bed. Right. So for me, I just thought everybody could.
Right.
Right. And so it was like, why can't others? And so it was also not, there was no language for me to articulate what I was doing or seeing or being. Right. There was no conversation of that until actually I went to South Africa, and then I started meeting more spiritual people where we could have these conversations. But I didn't know I was a spiritual person living in that divine presence. I was just Sarah doing this. And there was no, my mother was very Fey. We were both readers. And we come from a Fey background, so always, gypsy readers. And so, been doing that all my life and just being able to look at people and say something, and I'm a kinesthetic seer, so I see possibilities. And I see them because I feel them. Okay. Right. And then that's when the vision comes in. And even on shows, people have been talking about their businesses and this and that, and something comes through and bah! And I'm sorry, it has to come out. I also
want to add to this, Sarah, not to interrupt you, but that's fascinating. And thank you for sharing about your journey and how and what you see and what you feel, because that's part of Sarah.
Oh yeah, that is entirely Sarah.
Big part of Sarah. I wanted to say about the dreams. Like, I have kept dream journals for 30 years. And I have been tuned in with things that are going to happen way ahead of time in my journals. And I guess lately I've been talking in my sleep, and I talk to people, and I talk in a different language, maybe a light language, and I find myself saying things that are just like, where did that come from? Right. So I want to add that to people, for people who are listening, to be aware of their dreams, ask for guidance in their dreams before to go to sleep. I mean, I work with archangels and angels, Raphael, Uriel, Gabriel, Michael, Metatron, and even my boyfriend said Lavender, he'll help you with getting what you want. So it's just been fascinating. I ask about that every night and in the morning, and when you get up every day, do your positive affirmations.
Yes.
Talk positive in the mirror. Do your work. Make a vision board. There's so many things you can do to create your own game plan.
Right,
and
exactly.
Your game plan. It's
precisely. Yes.
And it's how you are putting yourself out there to play. Because this is playland.
Yes,
we want to have fun.
Yes.
It's not all about, I need to talk to dead people all the time, right? But how can I manifest creating my joy, my light, my fun, my gifts, and then take it out in the world?
And just ignite it in others. I interviewed a wonderful woman out of England, She's the clairvoyant chef, and she talks a lot about the chakras. So like if you're craving certain color foods, that chakra needs a tune up, right?
Right.
It needs more energy. But also she channels recipes from the other side, and then
Wonderful.
she makes them. And she says sometimes she looks at the recipes and the ingredients and then, God, how is this going to taste nice? And then it's absolutely wonderful. So it's just something that came to her. She didn't go looking for it. And then
Exactly.
all of us, now that, the universe knows that she does it, it's a floodgate of them, right?
Yeah.
And she started a little on TV show of making these recipes
And then
from,
comes her
from,
book.
from, yeah, exactly. And it's like, we have so much to learn from the people that have gone before, but
Exactly.
they also have a beautiful advantage things of knowing what's coming. So if we're tuned in with them, they can steer us right. They can steer us
Exactly.
in the right direction. They can tell us to avoid that pothole. We've just got to be tuned in because they're there to help us be the best we can be.
It's so important. I've had many experiences with, recently songs, music,
Mm-hmm.
musicians, filmmakers, because that's been my background,
Right?
and just listening and addressing them. And, you know, I'm going to give you an example. Okay. I played Janis Joplin
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube on my Facebook, and I was interviewed out of LA with a very dear actress friend, Sally Kirkland. She's a Golden Globe winner, and she's from New York as well. She's 80 now. I met her friend Viva Hoffman. I tagged Viva, and Viva's like, "Oh, Janis Joplin." She lived in the Chelsea Hotel when I was raising my daughter, and her room had graffiti everywhere. Viva was an Andy Warhol model, the
Mm-hmm.
model.
Mm-hmm.
And she was friends with Janis. I played the song was by Chris Christopherson. He wrote it. Oh yeah, I worked on a movie with him, and Janis wanted me to come to her concert with Andy, and I didn't go, and I felt so bad because I forget things. And she said, "Yeah, I never got to see her again." I said, "It's okay. She's with you." So
Right.
just these little
Yes.
circuits of connection, like me being with Sarah today. It's that
Yeah.
circuitry of connection.
Yes.
Because surprise, surprise, we got a lot of good surprises coming. So hang in there and be open.
Be open. There's a beautiful documentary of Judy Dench on trees. And they've literally taken the camera and they are seeing the wonderful fiber optics from the trees
Ooh,
reach out to each other. Even when a tree goes down, it's the life that comes out of it,
oh,
right? They
beautiful.
don't judge each tree for being different. It
Mhm.
is constantly that connection. And that entire forest is constantly connected to one another. And you can literally see the fiber optics. Now, we have fiber optics from our brain underneath our skin
Right,
before we get to our muscle that makes us move our hands and speak and do everything, the fiber optics of what's doing that. So these trees are constantly communicating. Imagine if we could become the forest. If we looked
exactly,
upon us ourselves as the trees, whether we're broken down or whether we're old or whether we're young, whether we're just sprouting up, of if that connection, that wisdom, that support, that care, that love constantly being shared with one another. Imagine what kind of forest we'd be. It's a fascinating documentary.
interesting.
The footage on it is amazing, but it is to remind us, just because we can't see the fiber optics, just because we can't see the particular energy particles,
Exactly,
doesn't mean that it's not there.
right. The other thing I wanted to share with you was I just came across something on Facebook through National Geographic. I'll have to send it to you if I haven't. But they hooked up these little, you know, prongs
Mm-hmm.
to mushrooms with a
Mm-hmm.
speaker. Did you see that? And
No,
the
but I have
music
heard
of the
about it. Yeah.
mushrooms, I'll
Yeah.
send it to you.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Yes.
And I mean, we're advancing.
Yeah.
Things are advancing, and things are advancing, to go back to nature,
Yes.
herbs, food,
Work with
the earth.
nature.
Exactly.
Yes.
Work with the earth, grow things. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm seeing people in New York City living up in Harlem, and they're just growing
Yeah.
things. And it's fantastic.
Vertical gardens or taking a
Exactly.
patch of garden. Yeah, I know. It's the balconies growing things. It's
It's
wonderful to
beautiful.
see. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. And we tried going the synthetic way and we became so detached. We became so insular and we became very kind of narcissistic in the way that we looked at life. And we started crumbling
Right.
because we are meant to be connected. That is how we're designed. But again, it's our individual instrument.
Right.
Right? That is what we're owners of. Our particular cell structure is what we own. And it's up to us to keep it plump and juicy so that it can
Yeah,
serve the entire body. Right?
exactly.
And so
Yeah,
when we talk about the collective, it isn't about the Star Trek Borg and just becoming mindless as one.
yes.
It's being part of the collective in order to keep the collective thriving with
Right.
your contribution of the best, juiciest, plumpest, cell that we can give.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing that we're evolving
Yeah.
through on this planet, and all of us are shifting gears.
Yes.
Right. It's
Yes.
listening to our music of our soul.
Yeah. But also listen to the music of our musicians.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
so much more soul talk out there. I mean, Andrea Day was on the other day with Trevor Noah on the Daily Show, and it was the whole Spotify thing, etc. And she's saying that she, it's her heart and soul that has written her music.
Right.
That maybe she's been delusional, but this is the world that she wants to see, and that's the song, the music that she's put out. We're seeing so many more celebrities now stepping away, and that actually was a gift of COVID, especially when it came to interviews. Instead of makeup, hair, few minutes spotlight,
Right.
questions, jolly D, and off they go. Now it's Zoom, they're at home, their own makeup, their own lighting, they're in their own environment. And we were getting beautiful, honest, down to earth content from them,
Exactly.
where we could see them as human beings and not as these out of reach, illusional, delusional celebrities. So, and that awakening that's been shared is just absolutely fabulous.
It's more the realness is
Yes.
Right.
We're all the same. Just some people are more famous, more rich, but we're all the same.
It's about your own authenticity.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really is.
But it requires all of us to step into our own purpose here on this earth. And if you're not willing to spiritually explore, you're not going to have that self-discovery of who you really are. Exactly. Be willing to explore. Your gift are many, but right now it is the one of, helping people with the messages, both ways, right? Some people want messages to go back to their loved ones, and they don't realize their loved ones can hear them all the time.
Yes, exactly. And see,
it's just not the other way around,
and they're shielded because we're not educated in
no, we're not.
School systems, and those are going to be changing. Everything's going to be transforming.
Yeah.
And it's a great time to be alive. It really is.
Yeah. You've still got TV shows trying to make any form of spirituality a cult. They're still on that bandwagon. But again, resistance is futile.
Yes.
This is already happening. The awakening is already happening. More and more people are stepping up into their beautiful divine gifts. And the more they do, the more they ignite heart and souls, the more that beautiful vibration grows, the more love has a chance, more peace has a chance, and more we step into a beautiful era of other possibilities that we've never considered.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But it's up to each one of us, isn't it?
It's a very personal choice, and it's your evolution.
Yeah.
It's your evolvement.
Yeah. So don't deny the messages that come through. Don't deny the tap on the shoulder. Don't deny that kind of sixth sense of yours that's screaming at you, right? Don't go, oh, no. Tune in. And if you can't do it on your own, reach out to other people who can help you.
Yeah, it's big listening time.
Yeah.
It's listening and observing.
Yes.
Observing is huge.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed this whole past year.
Mm-hmm.
Observe.
Yeah, now this year, because we are in the Tiger year, there's a different energy year. It's a productive year. It's also a year to get into gear, right? You know, you've listened, you've been awakened. Right now, we're not asking you to go up to sixth gear if you're not ready, but at least get into that first gear. Be willing to put yourself in gear and move forward.
So you know how you maneuver through your own tide,
Yeah.
your own daily, whatever you've got to do. Because we all have things we got to do.
Yes. And we've all got to do them.
That's right.
Because it's not one person and I'll follow, or I'll gather the benefits afterwards. No, we've all got to step up.
Yeah.
It's very, very important.
Absolutely. It's time to get on the horse and ride the horse.
Yeah. You know, and for a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people that are at a higher elevation is like, I hope I don't come back to this planet.
Yes.
But I think that's why an awful lot of people who have passed over haven't ascended to a higher plane yet, because they know they need to be here. There was one show I did with a mother whose daughter committed suicide, and she said, I can help more on the other side, help you.
Right.
Put into practice on this side. I can see the people who are in trouble that you can reach out and help.
Exactly.
So she knew that in death, she was going to be more of purpose than she would be in life.
Yes. And I think, like what you're saying, it's happening at a greater level.
Yeah.
Whether it be from the COVID or people, you know, it's their time to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, life is precious, but it is sure interesting to see what's going to happen when we do go to the other side, and we know what's on the other side, and you know, we may lose this, but we won't lose our frequency, and we won't lose our light,
our essence.
and we will definitely be giving messages to those who are open to hear.
Yes. And feel. You know, sometimes you may see the message, sometimes you may hear it, sometimes you may feel it. You know, it may come in the form of an animal or bird, as you say, or any other thing. Is that, don't deny the message. However way it comes through, don't deny the message. If we open up those receptors, we're just going to be so much more open to receive. And don't be afraid of death, right? I mean, please get out and live.
Yes.
Please get out and live. But when your time comes and you've truly lived and you really know you've participated, you've been part of the party, you know, and it's time to go, it's okay. It's just this vessel is time to go, and you've now reached a different evolution for you to transcend into another plane.
Yes. How beautifully put.
So death is not your enemy. Life can be, if you choose to be fighting with life all the time.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. Just stop fighting. Really.
Be in your present moment and allow things to be and to pass, and to, you know, sit down and journal if things are bothering you.
Yeah.
Write.
Right.
Sit down and write.
Read.
You
Yes.
know, all these beautiful things. Listen to music. Elevate yourself. You know.
Yeah.
Turn on YouTube and listen to binaural beats or crystal bowls, or there's so many things out there now.
Yeah, I had somebody the other day who liked a particular song from one of the artists I've interviewed, Justin Johnson, and he is an Americana blues guitarist. But people were making guitars out of spades or oil cans or this or that, and he can make music out of anything. A wonderful interview, a fabulous young man, and his music, I listened to it 3 times in a row because it just was exactly the boost I needed at that moment. Just exactly the groove that I needed. And music, your soul knows what it needs. Listen.
Totally. I know last night we were watching a documentary about ukuleles, and it was out of, I forget what channel. I mean, I was on the internet. My boyfriend was listening to it. It was phenomenal, and we taped it. And those ukuleles go back to, you know, the 40s in Hawaii, and it's a little instrument that people could take around with them. And
my daughter has one.
There you go. No, I want to get one.
Yeah.
All in time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you know, the thing is, music, I realized, because music is something I listened to when I used to suffer from depression a lot, and I realized that music was the thing to calm me and level me out. And then I realized after doing a galactic speak, as you talked about, the cosmic language,
Yes.
the and somebody I knew, she did cosmic speak on me, so she doesn't know what she's saying, I don't know what she's saying, but what she's doing is resetting the frequency inside, right? And I realized that's what music has in common. It is the frequency and the vibration of the music that's resetting you, and that's why music's so important to our spirits and our souls and hearts.
Yeah, it sure is.
And if you've got that speaking thing, definitely, that is, it is truly fascinating, and it's really a beautiful gift. She's actually helped people develop it when they've discovered they have it. And
lovely.
it's, she doesn't know what she's saying. You don't know what she's saying, but
Exactly.
the heart and soul and spirit does. And it's what it needs to hear. And you just feel a total shift
Yeah.
afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Because it's working it. She's channeling whatever's coming down from
Yes.
the light bar
Yeah.
in and out. And it's powerful
Yeah.
because, like you say, it's a personal thing for each person.
Right.
Everybody is dealing with their own soul. Everybody is dealing with clearing,
Mm.
moving forward, taking yourself out there. And it's your vessel.
Yes.
It's your vessel. You came in with this vessel. Now, how can I make my vessel be like an orchestra into one
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of person?
Yeah.
Right?
What's your instrument?
Exactly.
Right. Then you're for orchestra because you're all on the same vibe. You're in
Yes.
the same
Yeah.
frequency, and you really then can explore. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently the Beatles documentary, which
Yes.
is on Disney, apparently everybody who's watched that have just said it's absolutely mind-blowing because they were so utterly in sync and harmonious when they were creating the music.
Yes.
And then, one would do this and one would do that. And there's just the beautiful flow because they were so connected,
Yes.
right? So when we come together, in our
Yes.
beautiful divine gifts and connect, wow,
Yeah.
right?
It's powerful.
Mm.
Powerful. I don't think there's anything more powerful.
No, no, that's what that beautiful divine connection is all about. Good vibrations,
Yeah,
really. Yeah,
it is.
yeah. And
And
I'm sure,
baby, as what's his name? Jim Morrison would say, "Baby, you can light my fire," right?
yes, yeah.
So there you go.
I mean, you go back to the 60s and 70s, which was a huge awakening, a
Yes.
huge spiritual awakening that then was kind of recontrolled into the synthetic world of 80s and 90s.
Yes.
But when we listen to that music from the 60s and the 70s now, and the messages that were there, we're
Yes.
now truly beginning to actually understand what those messages were. Where,
Yes.
the artists today that have listened to those, it reflects in their storytelling, in their music today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We learn from observing and watching and
Mhm.
history. That's
Yes.
part of history. All types
Yes.
of history. And now we're creating new history.
Yes. Yes, and again, as I said, those that are in protest of the change of the loudest, like, right now in Texas, trying to ban books from the library. Even if there's a book in the library, they don't like charging the librarian $10,000 for each book that isn't there. And what are the books they don't like? They don't like books on segregation. They don't like books on homosexuality. They don't like books on liberation or spirituality. They want them all banned. Why? Because they know that's where people want to be. They
Exactly.
know that's the next evolution that is coming up, and they are trying to fight it like crazy. You can't fight this energy.
Exactly.
You
Bucking the
can't.
system. Can't buck the system,
Nope.
right?
Nope. You can fight as much, you can protest as much as you like. The more you protest, the more people are going to want to read and want to know,
Exactly.
right? It's the revolution is already out there, mate.
Oh, yeah.
You've lost the
It's happening.
battle.
It's happening. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a spiritual revolution, and I like this train that we're on.
Yes, and it's going faster and faster every day.
Yeah. And I imagine that a lot of the messages that are coming through to your clients, obviously kind of, I'm fine, you're fine, and all of that. But, are there some beautiful, profound messages that come through that helps them on their journey of
Oh,
life.
totally. All the
Mm,
time.
yeah.
All the time.
Yep. That's why they've stayed behind, right? It's they can see things more clearly now,
Yes.
right? So now they're being able to pass that knowledge and that wisdom down. And we need to
And they
listen.
want to grow, and they
Yeah.
want to grow. And
Yeah.
that's why they're searching,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing.
Don't be afraid. Believe you're not crazy. And if you think you are, that's fine, because you need to be a little crazy to live on this planet, right? It's
Yes.
there's no
The
white
crazies
coats
are
coming
in,
to take you away, ha.
yeah.
It's
The
okay.
crazies are in, and the eccentricities
Mm,
of people are coming out. And it's
yes.
okay.
Yes.
You need to be who you are.
All
It
right.
is the coming out party.
Yes.
It
Yes.
really is.
Yes. And it's
Right?
exciting. It's exciting to see. It's exciting to be a part of. It's exciting to see that awakening. And as I said, resistance is futile. The cosmic 2x4 is eventually going to get you.
Right.
But and all the other people that are protesting, the invitation is there. Join the energy, or the energy will leave you behind.
And the other thing is this is your celebration of your life. So
Yes.
why hold back?
Right.
This is your life.
Yes.
Have fun.
Yes. Live it. Live
Who
it.
cares who cares what other people think anymore?
Right.
That went out the door.
Yes. And
That
as
went
long
down
as,
the
as
drain.
long as we're open to conversation without damnation, as long as we're open to see other perspectives without judgment, if we're willing to, I'm a true colors coach, so that's for the 4 key personality traits, right? And each personality trait is going to receive and interact on a different knowledge plane, a different receptor. When we actually have all 4 of those colors around one topic, and each person describes what they're seeing and feeling, you now actually have a whole picture instead of a portion of a picture. And I think this is, let's have conversations. Let's be open to receive. Let's understand why other people think the way they think. Don't shut down. Don't condemn. Don't judge. Be open, because who are we to judge? That is not our role in life. It's to understand. Doesn't mean you may like. Doesn't mean you may want to go down that corridor, but we can't judge and we can't condemn, because peace and love doesn't go down that arena.
Exactly. And we have to stand up for what we believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Be
more compassionate with each other.
Yes, more and more so every
yes.
day.
Yeah. How do people get hold of you to book you, and where can they find you?
Right now, my website is not running, and I will get that up in time. I can be reached through Susan Arum, Arum, in Pemberton, BC, Canada, through Facebook. Private message me. I'm also on LinkedIn under Susan Arum, Arum. How else? My email address. Limitless, it's pretty long. Limitless, LIMITLESS, leadership, LEADERSHIP, just 5, the number 5, at gmail.com. So that's limitlessleadership5 at gmail.com.
So if people want to book a session with you, do they have to be actually with you, or you can do it virtually?
I can do it via video and also telephone internationally.
Great, wonderful. So, doesn't matter where you are, folks. If you feel that, there's a loved one you want to hear from, or that they're maybe trying to get hold of you and you just can't open up that channel, let Susan open up that channel for you and get that message. And maybe there's a message you want to get to somebody and you just don't quite know how to do it yourself. Go to Susan. This is what she's here for. She's going to help you hear from your loved ones. And maybe your loved one has decided to stick around to help you on your journey of life, help you through this beautiful transition of evolution, and want to help you kind of become that beautiful light that you're meant to be. And they've just chosen to be your guardians. And all you need is that open connection. And Susan's there to open that connection for you.
I can also give you my home number because I'm using that as well.
Do you want that out in the public, or you rather have people email you and you can give it out?
Yeah, email would be better. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're going to say they can get for you through messaging you through LinkedIn and through Facebook as well. Many people kind of DM, right? Message people that way as well. It doesn't matter.
Thank you so much.
And of course, people can do it by phone, they can do it by video, they can
Right.
come in person if they're living there. But the whole point, it's all energy. It doesn't matter where you are. It's just connecting to that frequency. And that's
That's
what
how
Susan
spirit
does.
works. Spirit just comes right through and connects to that person,
Yeah.
and it's pretty powerful. Very
And
powerful.
you have no control of what they're going to say, what the message is. You're just the beautiful conduit to allow it to happen. The message.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Open up those channels. It's exciting, to hear from your loved ones, right? It's
Yeah.
exciting, but especially if they've chosen to be your guardian, they've chosen to stay around to help you. Wonderful. You've all got angels around you, but it's really nice when you have loving relatives around you as well. It's just that
Exactly.
double power, right?
Powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah, so much.
Thank you, my darling. Thank you for the work that you're doing. It's very, very important.
And
Everybody
you
has a
too.
job to do. So, yeah.
You're doing amazing things on this planet. You're really getting up
Well,
there.
I've just got this fantastic platform where I get to interview people like you to show people there is always somebody out there to help them, and there is always a solution. All they have to do is click, listen, and reach out. That's it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Until next time, folks. Yes, we've had a lot of loss. A lot of people have crossed over. And maybe it could be somebody from a long time ago that's got a message from you. It doesn't have to be recent. You know that there's naggingness at the back of your mind, that there's something that wants to come through. Reach out to Susan. She's there to help you. And until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope that you enjoyed the show right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. Please tune in to our selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows and you will see all the other genres that we have from you. Every week on Tuesday, we bring you new shows from illuminating people. If you know someone that should be interviewed, please contact us at info@selfdiscoverymedia.com. Now stay tuned for your next show.